Good evening. How are you doing this fine evening? Hmm? How are you doing? Oh, fuck that. You're probably doing poorly. Am I KGB? No, comrade. Why would you think such thing? No, not the Ligma variant. No, Ligma. You really think you're gonna land a Ligma variant on me? Come on, bro. Come on. Come on. The Ligma variant. So, I know I mentioned it during the last Flash Fried, but um, school board meetings and county supervisor meetings and city planner meetings and shit like that, these meetings that are like open to the public for speakers, have become a circus in this country now. Like they've been invaded by these anti-mask COVID morons. And like I'm just wondering like how long we allow people to like openly flaunt the fucking law in their area by coming in and like sometimes like subtly and sometimes not so subtly threatening fucking public officials and shit. Like I'm wondering like like how far do we let this go? Amelia was telling me that in her old school district, she was talking to a friend of hers that still lives down there, that like a bunch of people apparently like pushed their way into the fucking building because it was over capacity the other night to yell and scream about COVID. Like somebody like they locked the doors when the building got to capacity and people were outside like pounding on the windows and shit. It's like a gaggle of fucking zombies. Like big, fat, dumpy, stinky, stupid fucking zombies, dude. And it's strange watching it happen because it's like they've all simultaneously discovered that there's a lot of time to be wasted at school board meetings and city council meetings and shit like that. And so there's just like hordes of these people showing up and refusing to follow mask guidelines as they pile into the room. I remember like watching one of them. We watched one of them. I think we watched it on the fucking show, where it's like, I don't know, maybe we didn't watch it on the show. There was like the meeting was about to start, and they were like, "Look, there's a mask mandate. We've got some extra masks here. Hold your hand up if you need one. We're gonna take a couple of minutes here to allow people to get their masks on. Will have to wear your mask, the whole time you're in here. Blah blah blah." So we'll start passing those out now, I guess. And then some fucking dumbass lady stands up and says, "You're not gonna muzzle us," or whatever. And like half the room stands up and starts cheering. None of them wearing masks. And I'm just like, well, there's cops roaming around. I'm just like, oh, okay. So you've just said that you're not going to apply by the county fucking ordinance for wearing masks indoors. And you're all cheering about how you plan on not doing it. And there's cops standing around. Time to arrest every last one of these motherfuckers. Just start calling their fucking bluff. Just arrest them. Put a mask on. No? Okay, you're under arrest. What? Wait, every time that happens, like, I've seen it happen over and over and over again. Every time it actually escalates to the point where they're getting wrapped up and zip tied, these people are fucking crying and screaming, "Oh my God, no!" So just do it. Just fucking wrap these motherfuckers up. Wrap them up. Take them down. Like, I really don't understand how much longer we're supposed to sit by and let our economy be held hostage by fucking people who are too stupid to go get a fucking vaccine in the midst of a pandemic, to let the business of our fucking communities be held hostage to people who are LARPing like they're fucking, William Wallace or some shit, just some big fat dumpy bored housewife bitch sitting up there with like 3 friends out in the audience pretending she's William Wallace at the fucking board meeting. At what point? Like, at what point do we start, like, listening to what these people are saying? Listen to what they chant. We will not comply. Will not comply with what? County fucking regulations and ordinances that say that you have to have a mask to be indoors. And you have to fucking have a mask to send your kid to school. We will not comply. Okay, well, what happens to people who don't comply with fucking county law? They get arrested. Can we get with it? Like, big fucking giant cow herds of these dumb fucking brainless zombies are like gathering outside of COVID clinics to yell at the doctors and the people that come in to get fucking vaccinated. And there's like cops milling around looking like they don't know what to do. You know what to do, oinkers. You know what to do. I know your training, typically requires a slightly more milk chocolatey fucking tone of the skin for you to jump up and start being fucking storm pigs, but it's time. It's time. Time to put you to work. There's a literal mob of virus spreaders hanging out in front of a fucking COVID clinic, screaming at people as they come in and out and refusing to wear masks in a giant congregation. Time to get the paddy wagons. We're processing about 100 arrests tonight. Yep, we got something to do. We might want to call in some extra people because we're going to need some extra hands to process all these people. We're taking them all down. We're putting them in the overflow cells. Let them fucking do it again. Put a fat fine on them. Send them on their way. And let them do it again. While they're in there, though, it would seem to be like a good time to give them the old, you know what I mean? Give them the old jab, jab. What we need is a police state. No, we're already living in one. We're already living in a police state where the cops can kick down your door and shoot fucking wildly and unrestrictedly into your building and shit. We're already in that timeline, Crescent Slice. Have you been asleep for a while? While you've been wringing your hands about the police state happening, it was instituted about 15 fucking years ago. Hello? Hello? Wake up. You been paying attention? Been watching what's happening? Just get in there. Get in there. Send these piggies in there. Round up all these McBuffalos. Stick them in the arm. Stick them with a fat fucking fine and send them home and see how many of them are out in front of the clinic tomorrow. And if they are, scoop them up again. Whole fucking like 20, 40, 50 people sitting in a school board meeting with no masks on, chanting, "We will not comply." Okay. You're under arrest. School board meeting is canceled. You're under arrest. Nobody move. This is not a matter of freedom. Period. It just isn't. You want to make this a matter of freedom, and it just isn't. There's no enumerated freedom to spread a virus all over the fucking country. Yeah. The consequence-free environment in which these fat, giant, bloated Egg McMuffin eating fucking morons are existing in is the problem. Where there's a fucking ordinance during a fucking pandemic and they're just going, "No." And there's no consequence for them going, "No." Yes. Yes. You will put a fucking mask on. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing that will get through to them other than direct force. I tell you what, dude, just the implication of direct force makes about 60, 70, 80% of these people fold. Just the implication that the next time, like, you can just make an announcement in these places. The next time there's a mob of unvaccinated, unmasked people lined up outside of the fucking school board meeting, pounding on the windows, everybody there is getting arrested. Yep. Over 600,000 dead in this country from the virus, and we're still arguing. On the road to 1 million fucking deaths in this country from this virus. Still arguing with people about wearing a fucking mask on their face when they're out in public. Still arguing with people, even though it's like in an unprecedented maneuver, we made this motherfucker free for all. I guess it's not unprecedented, but in modern times. Free for all and easy to get. It's just out there. Go to a Walgreens, go to your county health clinic, go to your fucking doctor's office. They've got it. And it's free. So the level of excuses for this type of behavior, the valid excuses disappear and the real excuses start to become clear. These are people that are bored, that have never been paid attention to in their entire fucking lives, and now they see an opportunity to stand up in front of a room of fucking people who are trying to get business done and waste their time with this fucking QAnon nonsense shit. That's what this is about. This is not about freedom. This is about people that are bored and feel like they don't have any control in their lives. And so they've come up with a way that they can be 3-year-olds in the midst of a deadly pandemic. And the fact that these motherfuckers will march around coughing and yelling in people's faces until they get sick and then they end up in the fucking hospital. That's just it. That's just the fucking cherry on the cake. Go out there, fucking spread it around until they get sick enough to go to the hospital, and they go to the hospital and whine for fucking treatment. This is like, you have to understand, this is not a passive resistance. Spreading a virus around during a pandemic that's killed over fucking 600,000 people in this country is not passive resistance. That's active fucking terrorism. There's no excuse for it. Active terrorism. You're not going to throw a piece of cloth around your face so you don't infect everybody else. Active fucking terrorism. Literally. So it's time. Don't we have all this anti-terrorist fucking legislation in this country? Let's go scoop up these big fat white McBuffalos. These big fucking McNugget disposals that don't have anything better to do than watch Plandemic on fucking repeat and LARP like they have a voice. They don't. These motherfuckers don't know the first thing about how government functions. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Complete and utter fucking ignorance. And we're allowing them to weaponize that shit and walk around in fucking public coughing up their fucking nasty shit all over everybody. Meanwhile, everybody else in the world, everywhere else in the world that takes this shit fucking seriously is doing way better than we are. These people just have never known real adversity. And so this is the first thing that they've ever been able to latch onto where people actually listened. Of course, the people that listened are the dumb people that think like they do. And now the LARP has gotten to the point where they're out there shutting down businesses. They're out there shutting down the economy again. It's no longer a LARP. This is no longer a passive act of resistance. This is an active. All right, I'm going to go ahead and unhide Leon the Froggy. I know him. He's a known quantity. What if a vaccine came along that did have delayed negative effects? We might be thankful for the gadflies then. Yeah, dude. Thankful for another full fucking year of lockdowns because these people keep spreading it around and overflowing the fucking... Oh, yeah, dude. I'd definitely be thankful for them. Yeah, if another vaccine comes out that's a little better than the ones now, I'm definitely going to be thankful to the warriors that killed another fucking 200,000 people. You know how bad it's going to be this winter, bro? You realize this shit spreads more heavily in the winter, right? You know, last winter was like the death spiral. You ready for it again? About to happen again. All of these hospitals that are already overflowing. What do you think's going to happen in 2 months when it starts to get cold? Another lockdown Christmas for everybody because these dumb fucks can't waddle their big fat asses into a CVS and get a shot for free. So no, ain't nobody going to be thankful for these motherfuckers killing another 200,000 people with their hubris. You kidding me? Oh, we were just holding out for one that's slightly better, y'all. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh, you big fucking pale meatball. Fuck reverse psychology. Just start rounding these fucks up. You've got the vaccine rolls. You know who in the community is vaccinated. You know who isn't. Just start picking these fucks up. A good place to start would be at these anti-mask rallies. Round up every one of the motherfuckers that's out there spreading this shit against city or state ordinance. Take them in. Look them up in the vaccine rolls and see if they're on the fucking rolls anywhere. And when they're not, stick them. Stick them and give them a fucking piece of paper that says you are to return back in 2 fucking weeks to get your second one. And if you don't, we're coming to pick you up again. Now, you know what? Even that, fuck that. Keep them. Pick them up, and the unvaccinated one, stab them, keep them for 2 weeks, stab them again. Then release them. We're too far gone because nobody's doing anything about this shit. The stupids are calling society's bluff. That's what's going on. Stupid people are calling society's bluff. How far are you willing to go to keep me from killing your grandmama? How far are you willing to go to keep me from spreading this shit all over your children? They're calling your bluff. How far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go to not have another year living indoors? How far are you willing to go to not have another year with no fucking help from the government being asked to stay home from your job? Because these people can't go get a free shot at Walgreens. They can waddle their fat, dumpy asses into the fucking McDonald's 3 times a week. But for some reason, they just got to take a fucking big old stand. They're afraid about what goes into their bodies, y'all. You see the bodies of these motherfuckers? I mean, I'm not one to talk, but hello. Hello. Stick them. Be done with it. Put these pigs to work doing something for the fucking community. Fuck the COVID passport. Fuck the COVID passport. I'm not advocating for that shit. I mean, I'd be fine with it. I think we should implement one, in fact. But let's just say that doesn't work. Okay. I'm not calling for that. I'm calling to have these people fucking rounded up and stuck. Period. They want to partake in the fruits of society. They're going to have to play by the fucking rules. And the rules are, during a pandemic, you don't get to cough your fucking beads of liquid death all over everybody's family. You put a fucking mask on your face, and you go get the shot, and you shut up. And that's it. Apparently that has slipped everybody's minds. They're acting like this rule that your kid can't come to school unless they're vaccinated is some brand new fucking thing. That was part of signing your kid up for school. That's how I got signed up for school. You go down and you bring your kid's vax records so that they can make sure you're not bringing polio or fucking mumps into the school. I ain't gonna be back tonight. these people would refuse to get glasses too. No, because it's not about autonomy and their fucking medical. It's not about any of the things they say it's about. It's literally about them feeling like a need to be important. They're not. So they need to be reminded that they are not important. They certainly don't rise to the level of importance of holding an entire fucking country hostage while they run around. They need to be reminded. I don't know about the near future, but looking at how humanity handled this little test run with COVID, we are fucking fucked. If a big nasty comes around, this country is this whole world is fucked. Look how quickly and brutally COVID spread to every corner of this fucking globe. Look how many fucking nations are still dealing with it. I don't know. I don't know if COVID will jump the vaccine or whatever the fuck. I'm not sure about that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. We're definitely providing an environment where that's possible. But people don't seem to understand. This type of shit is no joke. These dumb motherfuckers wait until they get sick and then they show up at the fucking doctor's office. And none of the bullshit that they've done gets called into question. They get the same fucking treatment as everybody else. And that's not fair. If I walk in with a genuine case of fucking COVID-19, even though I've tried every second of the pandemic to be as safe as I fucking can, and the waiting room is clogged up with fat fucking pieces of shit who refuse to go down and get the shot, and I can't get fucking care, how's that fair? How's it fair that these people were too dumb and too obstinate to go down and get a shot, but they're not too dumb and too obstinate to go down and get fucking medical care? And we're allowing this. There are people out there that need genuine medical care now that have done everything right that aren't receiving it because there's a horde of fucking big buffalo looking nasty motherfuckers laying on the ventilators because they refuse to go get vaxxed in the midst of a fucking pandemic. Dunzo. You see the new report that climate change is going to become apocalyptic as soon as 2027. It's apocalyptic now, dude. It's apocalyptic today. It's apocalyptic right now. I didn't have a sunset today. I didn't have a sunset yesterday where I live. There's not a cloud in the sky. Look at the radar for my state. There's not a cloud in the sky. I haven't seen the sunset in 2 days because of the smoke from the wildfires. The apocalypse is now. It's happening now. It's just not happening like it happens in the movies over the course of 1 second when 3,000 tornadoes break out simultaneously and a giant earthquake destroys half the cities and a giant wave destroys the other half. It doesn't happen like that. All of this reporting and shit, like climate change will become apocalyptic in 5 years or 10 years. It's already apocalyptic. It's already happening. It's already screaming out of control. People have watched too many goddamn fucking movies. They watch too many movies. Dude, I haven't seen the fucking sunset in 2 days because there's so much smoke in the atmosphere. Haven't seen it. The sun, when it's out all day, is this red orb in the sky. This blood red orb that just barely shines through the fucking smoke cover. It's the craziest, weirdest, most apocalyptic looking shit. What do you mean? Millions of people are dying from famines. Millions of people are dying from drought and hunger and displacement all over the fucking world. There's a mass migration crisis, both within countries away from the fucking most affected areas of climate change, which are the coastal areas, and from without, as people flee their home countries, as their fucking areas become unlivable, literally unlivable. So, fuck these perseverance porn fucking studies that get released and covered in the fucking news media every couple of years, where they kick the can another couple of years. It's going to be like almost the apocalypse in a few years. It's like, no, it's the apocalypse now, motherfucker. Seriously. The world is tearing itself apart. The climate is collapsing. The fucking social compact is fraying to the point where we got people like they're so fucking like starved for meaning in their lives that their idea of rebelling against a totalitarian government is spreading a fucking virus. It's a death cult. You understand what a death cult is? This is the Christian death cult come to fruition. These people want to see death. They want to see destruction. It's in their fucking ideology that this shit happens. You don't see this happening? You don't see people out there fucking accelerating this shit? It's happening, y'all. The apocalypse is today. Okay? And it'll be tomorrow, and it'll be the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Not in 2027, now, in 2021. Our oceans are acidifying at an alarming rate. The fucking global temperature is raising at an alarming rate. Ice caps melting at an alarming rate. Forests burned or completely destroyed by monoculture at an alarming rate. Mass migration of people running from the fucking death, degradation, and destruction in their countries. Just think about it. Don't be lulled into a sense of security by the people that tell you that we've got all the time in the world to sit around and fuck off. We don't. But we need to move from a how do we prevent this kind of mentality, which is I think most people think we still can, to how do we survive it. And we need our politicians to start speaking this way immediately. We need our news media to start speaking this way immediately. It needs to get into the zeitgeist that this is not something that's looming anymore. It's here, and we either will or will not survive it. And here's what's going to happen, and here's how we're going to have to change. Are we going to survive? I don't know. You're coming to the wrong guy for that shit. I know it's about to be tested. Well, it's being tested. And it doesn't look like it's going very well, does it? Look at every metric. The misery index, the climate, the economy. Some of us might. Nuclear energy has fewer drawbacks than renewables. I don't know. Tell that to somebody whose family is from the fucking exclusion zone in Ukraine. Okay? I don't want to watch the video. I don't care to watch the video. My opinion on nuclear is not going to change because somebody made an impassioned defense of nuclear. It's just not gonna. That the existence of human error, it just doesn't fucking work. It just doesn't work. The existence of human error makes these things giant fucking bombs that can literally make like 3 or 4 miles around them uninhabitable for fucking 200 years. Sorry. If human beings were a little more stable, so you're actually looking at society tearing itself apart and going like, what we need is some nuke reactors. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you see stability anywhere in this world? What do you think you need for a nuclear reactor? Right? I would say number one would be a stable fucking environment in which that nuclear reactor can operate, right? Let these people fucking argue that away. They haven't made a nuclear reactor from thorium yet. They're trying to. They're building one, right? China's building a thorium reactor, right? I'm not even worrying about the perfect opinion thing. I'm just saying that at this time of societal upheaval and the obvious failure of worldwide governments to be able to handle public health fucking crises and shit, coupled with the massive nuclear disasters of the past that irradiated fucking just innumerable miles of ocean and landscape, I think that's enough for me. I think that's enough for me. You have an oopsie with like a normal fucking coal-fired plant, that plant blows up. It doesn't make the land for fucking 3 or 4 miles in a circle around it uninhabitable for fucking 6 generations of humanity, okay? I don't trust the human ape enough. I don't. I don't trust our fucking crumbling infrastructure enough. Problem with renewables is that they can't power the world. Not even close. Solar panels can't be recycled. They break all the time. Why do you think we need to maintain the same level of power consumption the world over? You don't think that one of the lessons of this coming climate collapse is that maybe we need to marshal the natural resources that are here on this planet and learn to fucking live without as much fucking energy being consumed? Like, do you honestly think that if we set up a bunch of fucking nuclear reactors, it's going to stabilize the fucking world economy, stabilize all the fucking problems that are going on? Like, I don't think adding a bunch of fucking giant bombs to the mix is the way to do it, yo. I just don't. I don't believe in the technology. Sorry. I don't believe in the ape. The technology may be fine. Well, I tell you what, Chris, I hope you don't have to eat your fucking words. Because guess what? The nuclear industry has been saying the same thing about nuclear that you're just saying since the beginning of it. It's literally the safest way to generate power. You get more power and fucking it's safer than this, safer than that. And look at all of the fucking accidents that have happened at these places. It doesn't get us off of fossil fuels. It doesn't. How do you figure it gets us off of fossil fuels? Our entire fucking fleet of vehicles from the military on down are fossil fuel dependent. How do you figure nuclear reactors get us off of that? Guys, we need to stop looking at this like we can pull out of this. No, no, no. This go round of fucking civilization is going on a nosedive, and I don't think building a bunch of nuke reactors is a good idea right now. Do you see the metrics for fucking stability in the world going up? Because it's only then that I would start to go like, all right, let's build a bunch of bombs. Let's build a bunch of nuke bombs. Because you know what? We're doing really well. We're on the up and up. No, no, no. Every metric is on the fucking cliff or off it already. And you want to build a bunch of fucking nuclear reactors all over the place? More than there already are? You want to open up the fucking iris of human error a little wider? No, thank you. No, thank you. Nuclear reactors discourage bombs. There's talk of using uranium in the nuclear stockpile to power. There's talk of it, huh? I tell you what, when they start actually fucking dismantling our nuclear arsenal to make it into fucking nuclear reactors, or there's any fucking path to us to such a thing, I'll hear you out. But there's talk of shit. You got to serve up something a little better than that to me. Sorry, bro. Too well versed in the stupidity of the human ape. Too well versed. And the stakes are too high. Sorry. Support it all you want. You realize that we're like decades and decades, if not 100 years from nuclear fusion being harnessable, right? We just covered a story about it, where scientists are in the process of being able to cause the reaction one time by shooting a bunch of lasers at a pea-sized ball of uranium. Or no, helium. Hydrogen. Whatever it was. Pea-sized little fucking ball of hydrogen, and they're shooting like 90 lasers at it. They're on the cusp of being able to make that reaction happen one time. In order for it to be viable, that reaction it needs to happen over one time per second sustainably. So that's where that fucking technology is versus where it needs to be usable. How much thorium is on the planet? How abundant is thorium on the planet? Missed a super chat. Solar satellite panels in orbit locked on the sun could seriously deal with this and have one big one or a bunch of smaller ones. China is researching this now currently. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Well, that's the problem, Nick, that I have with all of these nuclear advocates and shit, is when you look in to the things that they advocate for, you find a whole lot more danger than they like to pretend. They like to pretend like it's literally impossible for these things to explode, or we've learned since Chernobyl, we've learned since this, and we've made it to where this can't happen and this can't happen. And then a fucking Fukushima happens. And they go like, well, like how could we have foreseen all of the fucking generators being overflown by flooded out by a fucking tsunami in a tsunami zone? How could we have foreseen that? We got Fukushima pissing fucking radioactive death into the fucking Pacific Ocean for who knows how much longer, right? I just, I hear a lot of fucking trust in the human ape, and I'm not sure where it comes from. There's the Okinawa reactor, which actually had a more direct hit by the same tsunami and still operated fine. Well, that should go to show you, right? That should go to show you there's really no accounting for human stupidity. There's really no accounting for every eventuality, and when a nuclear reactor gets hit by one of those eventualities that you didn't account for, the surrounding area is uninhabitable for 100 fucking years or more. Yeah. Nuclear waste. Yeah. Let's get piles of that laying around. Let's have stock. Well, we already do. Let's have stockpiles of nuke waste just dotted all over the fucking planet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this sounds great, guys. You guys got a great fucking vision for the future. Are you talking about the Chernobyl TV show? You're the one talking about the Chernobyl TV show. I'm talking about the Chernobyl nuclear disaster that utterly destroyed the fucking exclusion zone around Pripyat in the Ukraine. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the dramatization that HBO made. That's what you're talking about. I'm talking about the actual devastation that happened as a result of human negligence and lack of human foresight. And you want to tell me, oh, we got it all figured out now, bro. Things have gotten better now, bro. Until one of these things goes up. And then you dumb fucks will be out there going like, well, c'est la vie, man. It's only 200 square miles of shit that nobody can fucking step on now for the next 5,000 years. Don't worry about it, bro. Fuck you people. Fuck you people. The human ape does not get to just make giant fucking wastelands of the world without any pushback. Sorry. There are other animals that live on this fucking planet that have to deal with that shit. Cancer, mutation, the fucking just horrible life that comes with dying from radiation sickness for hundreds of fucking years. Nope. Sorry. The human fucking chimp, not important enough in the grand scheme of fucking things. Not smart enough. Not careful enough. Not stable enough by a long shot. Sorry. You're not going to sell this one to me. You're not going to sell this one to me. My opinion on this is not for sale. Sorry. Too stupid. Dude, you saw a video that changed your life, bro. And you're assuming that I've never seen a pro nuke video. You're assuming that I'm just coming at this having never watched anybody that make a long pro nuke argument. You have literally been in here for like fucking 30 minutes evangelizing for a video that you watched that opened up your eyes to everything. Do you know how stupid you sound? You watched a fucking YouTube video and you're gonna come in here and evangelize for something like you understand it? Get over it. I'm not watching your dumb fucking video, and if I did, I probably wouldn't agree with you anyway. Home skillet. Timothy, there is no balancing act. Humanity is off the cliff. It's just a matter of when we splatter. You don't see this happening? This has happened over and over and over again in human history, but nobody wants to admit it's happening now. The paradigm is dying. It's eating itself. It's becoming unsustainable. There's going to be war and famine and environmental degradation, and there's going to be a massive, massive reduction in the human population as a result. Period. So you want to build a bunch of fucking nuclear reactors on the corpse of this fucking civilization? I don't think it's a good idea. And really, the sad part of this is that the real nail in the coffin for nuclear energy is going to come at the expense of an actual nuclear war somewhere. Maybe some limited nuclear engagement between Pakistan and fucking India. Whatever. It's going to happen. Like I said, these weapons just fucking cry out to be used, and it'll happen. And then people will see in real time in fucking 4K from 8 different directions the devastation that this shit wreaks. And that'll be that. And then you'll see people abandon this fucking dumb idea. But until then, there's going to be people jerking off that we can create a bunch of thorium reactors in time to save the fucking planet. Ridiculous. It's over. We're on the downhill slide. There's no way to get through the keyhole. We missed, you know how they have a timing window they have to hit for missions, because the Earth is only in position, to really launch it towards the place that the fucking spacecraft is going. Our fucking window for launch went by about 25 years ago. That's it. Nobody's gonna fucking tell you that because nobody wants to buy it. Nobody wants to feel that way. Nobody wants to feel like, oh shit, I'm living in the embers of a dying empire. And it's just going to keep getting worse and worse year by year by year by year by year until it gets unsustainable, and it's going to be horrible, and it's nobody wants to admit it. So everybody's out here jerking each other off with fucking dollar green fantasies about how we're going to set up 1 million thorium reactors and replace all our energy consumption when the entire paradigm of our energy consumption is based entirely on fossil fuels. They're fucking delusional. They're in denial of the truth. We don't have time. We don't have time, and we're not trustworthy enough to handle such fucking power. The magic machine never was coming. The magic machine was 30 years ago, humanity having a fucking revolution. And it didn't happen. So guess what? Done. Anarcho-primitivism doesn't even become something that we can talk about until after the collapse. You have to understand, there is nothing we can do. There's no brakes on this motherfucker anymore. It's already over the cliff. That's it. Why 30? Because about 30 years ago, according to the science, had humanity kicked into fucking gear and acted in a widespread manner to stave off this fucking horrible death, we could have made major sweeping fucking changes to how severe this shit is and how our society functions. But we didn't. We went the easy way, and we kept sucking the oil out of the ground and spewing it in the form of carbon into the atmosphere, and now we're fucked. Now it's over. So now what we can do is to be honest. Those of us that know this can be honest with people because that's the best we can do. Hello, D. Do we go down with the ship? We have no choice. What's the alternative? Planet is going to be functionally uninhabitable, especially given the numbers of people there are on this planet. There's no way that we don't see at the very least a mass human die-off because of this. And probably a complete paradigm change in the way that people think about governance, if there's enough people left behind to form such things. Like, you don't understand. I'm not talking about little inconveniences. I'm talking about the world being uninhabitable. There are no lifeboats. Lifeboats to where? To what end? Let's be honest about anarcho-primitivism. The genie is out of the bottle, and it's inconceivable that people will willingly go back to living in tribes in Stone Age conditions. So I want you to imagine a world in which I'm correct, and there is a mass die-off in the human species. And it is well known that it happened because of climate change. It was precipitated by climate change. Huge swaths of the countryside irradiated from nuclear fallout. Just an absolute cinder of a world. Do you think for a fucking second that those people are going to want to follow in our footsteps? We're going to be their villain. We're going to be their devil. The people that came before and turned paradise into this smoldering shit heap, you think they're going to walk in our shoes willingly? That's how anarcho-primitivism comes around. People learning that mass factory farming and mass pollution of the environment led to the world being a burnt out, fucking unusable cinder. Sorry. They're not going to look on us with anything but contempt for what we did to this place. There isn't enough fossil fuel reserves to start industry. And there certainly isn't enough to fucking pilot industry back to where it is now. It's just done. We had our chance, guys. We had our chance. And we blew it. And now we're all going to fucking reap the whirlwind on it. And whoever's left at the end of it is going to hate our fucking guts. They're not gonna... Dude, the idea that you think that nuclear weapons are going to be what's vilified is ridiculous. These people are going to be very aware that it wasn't just nuclear weapons that destroyed the world, bro. Monoculture destroyed the world. Our pursuit of ever bigger cities and technological advancement destroyed this place, and that's going to be the narrative. So you better get ready for the quote-unquote Stone Age thinking or whatever the fuck that you think is never coming back because the genie's out of the bottle. That genie's going to suck right back into that bottle real quick for the few people that are left. And if you think they're going to immediately start rebuilding the world in our image, why would they fucking do that? The world is going to be a smoldering nuclear cinder. There's not going to be enough people to do it. What little patches of habitable fucking environment there are going to be absolutely motherfucking protected by necessity.
We're gonna have a wall around the Great Lakes.
Yeah. I don't know that there's going to be enough people for us to even consider the philosophical implications of this. Like you're thinking that there's going to be like, oh yeah, there's going to be like a die off and half of us are going to die and the rest of us are going to be like, oh, let's do this again but more carefully. You realize that the earth like is not just going to pull out of this once we disappear, right? Once we stop, like, if we were to stop polluting right now, this collapse still happens with the same viciousness and the same fervor it ever was. There's no slowing this down. There's no reversing it. And what's left at the end of it is really up in the fucking air. So you thinking that you're going to be able to be inside the psychology of a small group of people that survived what's coming, I think it's ridiculous. And your insinuation that those people are going to go about it the same way we did and not learn that it was technology and our dogged fucking pursuit of it, endless growth, endless technological fucking advancement at the expense of the world. And you think that like human beings are going to immediately just start doing that again? Nope, nope, nope. They're going to embrace fucking tech as a way of fucking survival. What's left, what's actually usable. Think about how much shit, by the way, is going to be unusable to them. Cell phones, useless. Computers, useless. Cars, useless. Boats, useless. Airplanes, useless. What technology are they going to use? The bombed out husks of our fucking buildings? Is that what you call technology? What are they going to use? Where are they going to build the foundation? How are they going to pump non-existent oil out of the ground when we've sucked it all out? And they don't have the means to do it anymore because they don't have the means to power the machines that make it happen. Have you thought about this? You realize all this shit that we're going to leave behind is going to be useless. They're not going to be able to jump in a car and drive it around because there's going to be nowhere to fill the car up. They're not going to be able to jump on a boat and sail it around because there's going to be nowhere to restock the fucking boat. They're not going to be able to fly around because there's going to be nowhere to take off from, land, or refuel. All of that technology, useless. Anything that requires electricity, useless. What are they going to do? How are they going to power the fucking generators? With what? Battery operated shit. Useless. What are you going to recharge it on? We're not leaving them this like cornucopia of usable technology that they can just adapt to a smaller, more green way of fucking living. We're leaving them a bunch of plastic shit that's literally useless to them. Think about it. Really honestly fucking think about it. What are they going to do with the shit that we leave behind? What are they going to do with irradiated cities? What are they going to do with cars with no way to fucking power them? What are they going to do with computers with no way to fire them up or use them? What are they going to do with guns with no way to make bullets? No way to mine the fucking materials to make more? What are they going to do with it? Well, to be quite frank with you, the Romans left behind aqueducts, roads, and a disgusting, festering fucking city. And a destroyed countryside from fucking mass farming and shit. So the Romans didn't leave the world in a fucking neutral spot. They just didn't have the power to destroy it at the level we did. They cut down forests. They turned fucking rivers into rivers of human shit. Disease, famine, all that shit happened in their time. It's not like, their civilization grew to a point where it just couldn't sustain itself anymore. And it collapsed, and what they left behind was a smoldering, fetid shit heap. Now think about what we're going to leave. 1,000,000 times more destructive than they are. People got to think about this fucking shit, man. People come in here and they talk about like the post-collapse societies if people are just going to jump back in the cars and start things back up. Dude, you've played too much goddamn Fallout, Viz. I'm done talking to you, homie. I'm really honestly done talking to you. You've played way too much Fallout. I don't want to set the world on fire.
Yeah, they're definitely not realistic apocalyptic games. You wouldn't be able to eat fucking canned ham.
When people come out of their bunkers, man, they're gonna fucking go to our bio-rich dumps that we left behind. They're gonna be early forms of energy, bro.
What? You have no fucking clue what's coming, bro.
Yeah, they can melt down like the cars and build power armor and robots.
Yeah. No, I know. Fallout is a universe where people were driving nukes around as cars. Yeah. Think about this shit, dude. Who's going to man the nuclear power plants that are already there that require human intervention to keep from melting down? You're thinking too short term, much too short term. Okay. All right, dude. All right. Head back into your vault, okay? Head back into your vault. Head back into the Vault Tech fucking patented vault, all right? And come out when you think it's ready to rebuild. It's beyond time to stop. Yeah, this dude's thinking way too long term. He's assuming that there's going to be enough of us to repopulate the planet and enough planet left for us to do that repopulation on. Also a dude that was pushing for nuclear before that doesn't want to talk about the fact that when this fucking giant cataclysm happens, there's going to be nobody manning those nuclear reactors and they're all going to melt down. In addition to the fucking huge swaths of the planet they're going to be irradiated when the nukes fly. Like, what are you thinking? Paul, do most scientists say that there will be a societal collapse? Most scientists don't study whether or not there will be a societal collapse. So no. Or am I just too pessimistic? This is a false binary. You've asked me a question that I literally can't answer. To answer part of that question, do you hear a lot of people running around and talking about how there's no way for us to pull out of this? No. Because that's not what people want to hear. People want to hear that there's a sunshine and roses way for us to kind of like, oopsie daisy, circumvent the apocalypse. It's not happening. We're living in the midst of it. We're in the midst of a fucking mass die-off of species, a global extinction event. We're in the midst of massive climate upheaval. And we're in the midst of massive social and political upheaval that has no fucking recourse. Because the oligarchs that are in power have no intention of handing it over to the people. So they're going to continue to rape the planet. People are going to continue to be complicit in it until there's nothing left to rape. There's so much fucking blind optimism in here. Humans are one of the most fragile species on the planet. Our numbers are what make us fragile. If you didn't learn that from this pandemic, you're fucking too stupid to live, dude. Your idea that human beings are just too adaptable, you're so fucking wrong, bro. Human beings have teetered on the edge of fucking total extinction twice in our history. Once we were down to like a theorized 50 pairs of people on the planet. And that was without nuclear fucking wastelands and acidic oceans and desertified fucking surface of the planet. Yeah? We on the same page now? Or you still got more blind optimism to chuck in my face because you want to believe we're going to pull out of this fucking nosedive we're in?
No. People aren't gonna fund scientists that are saying that we're already fucked. They want to fund things that look like solutions.
And they want to hear things that sound like solutions. That's why this whole conversation tonight was kicked off by somebody going, "Hey man, did you read that fucking new report that's out that says that climate change is going to reach, quote, apocalyptic levels by 2027? And I'm just like, yeah, I've read that 15 fucking times over the last 15 fucking years. It's always down the road a piece. Oh, by fucking 2030, it's going to be bad. Oh, by 2035, it's going to be bad. Oh, no. It's bad now. By then, it's going to be fucking full-blown chaos. Nobody wants to hear that, though. Everybody wants to think that we're just going to sip our lattes through the fucking apocalypse. It ain't going to happen, dude. People don't want to hear shit like that, Logan. They don't want to hear that, like, human beings are fucking soft, susceptible, teetering on the edge of fucking extinction. They don't want to hear it. They think that we're somehow special. These are the takers that are described in Ishmael. These are the people that buy into the mythology of our culture. That being that the earth was created for us to experience it. That the pinnacle of creation is humans and that it stopped with humans. And so we're somehow special and impervious to the consequences of our own actions and impervious to the self-same fucking laws of nature that have kept every other species in check since time immemorial. But for some reason, because we are the ultimate end goal of creation, we got some plot armor. Nope. No, we don't. We're just another pink fucking slug living on this planet, and we're just as susceptible as every other fucking animal. In fact, more so. We are more susceptible to sickness and disease due to how we live than every other animal on this fucking planet. COVID didn't teach you that? Think about if COVID killed 2% of people that got it. There'd be a mound of corpses burning in the field across from my house right now. A mound everywhere. This species is incredibly pink and incredibly soft and incredibly susceptible to mass die-off. Period. Adaptable my ass, bro.
Yeah, it's like take an average group of 100 people and see how many people could actually survive.
None of them.
Without.
Take your average 100 fucking Navy SEALs and see how long they survive in an irradiated, shit-stained wasteland. There's no amount of training. There's just no amount of badassery. There's gonna be no Mad Max in the future. No fucking gang of fucking super badasses and shit. It's not gonna happen, guys. It's already destroyed us, Chris. The mythology of our culture, that we're at the center of everything and thus we're entitled to everything, and we're separate from the beasts around us, has led us to break the law of limited competition to the point where we can't fix it anymore. We've set in fucking motion a death spiral on this planet that's not just going to take us out, it's going to take all the species that we rely on out as well. Not optimism. I mean, what's the alternative? Slow suicide, quietism, the gamble at a better future. It's not a gamble. You're doing Pascal's wager now. You're intimating something that you can prove absolutely with zero fucking evidence. Like, you can provide me no evidence that humanity is going to have this reblossoming after the fucking collapse and is going to reuse our technology in sustainable ways. But that's what you're optimistically looking forward to. How are you any different than somebody that believes that Jesus is going to walk you through the pearly gates when you die? At this point, why should I consider anything that you have to say like any more than I consider what they have to say about the afterlife and shit? You're just weaving a self fucking affirming mythology about human beings that's just never been true. So where are you getting this?
It's like people forget, like, with the plagues and shit, like, technological advancement, like, kaplunk.
Right.
And then had to come back up.
We had to relearn fucking shit that we learned thousands of years ago because of mass die-offs on this planet. It's just over, dude. You don't understand. And so your optimism is just blind hopefulness. It's not like you're not placing your betting chip down on a fucking better future. You don't get to do that. That choice was taken from you by the generations on this planet that raped it, including yours, including you. You ran that credit card up to max already, along with the rest of us. Sorry. Are we even going to want to relearn nuclear fission when there's nothing left behind from our nuclear fission other than giant irradiated wastelands that make people sick and get cancer if they live on them? Like, once again, what do you think is going to happen to nuclear reactors when human beings go ape shit and start dying off? They're going to melt down. There are thousands of these all over the planet that require human intervention, that have fail-safes that only last as long as the diesel generators run. And the diesel generators have to be refueled by human beings. Going to be nobody to do it, so there's going to be meltdowns and explosions all over the world, and that's not even counting the missiles. What do you think is going to be left at the end of all that? And you have the hubris to advocate for more nuclear at this point in human history? Some of you are just fucking, you got your heads buried in the fucking sand, dude. Fully submerged. I just want to shake you. Let's build more nuclear reactors on the planet as society's collapsing. Fantastic fucking idea. We've got a couple of sibling planets to look at if we want to take a look at the different ways that Earth might fucking end up. We've got Mars, which is a giant desert, and we've got Venus, which is a giant fucking greenhouse hotbox. And a desert.
People kind of drive me crazy with like that. Oh, we'll just all escape the planet into space when the society collapses.
Yeah, Star Trek fucking fantasists and people that, like, you don't understand, dude. That is not going to happen.
Like, if we were going to do that, we should have started like 50 years ago.
More. Even more. We should have started, like, we should have just literally made the center of our funding our space program when we landed on the moon in the 50s. That should have been it. done deal, should have like funded the space program almost exclusively. If that was the plan for humanity to escape the fucking planet and start a colony that's self-sustaining somewhere else. That is just a fucking fantasy that people want to sell you.
Like NASA's percent of the total budget is like 1% or something.
Yep.
It's like we ain't invested shit into space travel.
Like you understand? Like, yeah, dude. We get there. It would take beyond 1,000 years for us to be able to functionally, like, what do they call it? Like, geoengineer a planet. So to go to something like Mars, which doesn't have an atmosphere, and create these big kind of processing plants that process the atmosphere and create an Earth-like atmosphere, because we can't live in biodomes, dude. That's just not sustainable. There has to be something supplying places like that. So just the sheer amount of fucking supply, constant supply, that an off-world outpost built under a dome or something would need from its mother planet is fucking insane. The amount of energy that would have to be expended in order to ferry that shit back and forth. Oh my God. You have no clue. It's a fucking pipe dream. And there are people out there still jerking themselves off about the future of humanity being among the stars and shit. And we are fucking literally nosediving. It's part of how some people deal with this shit. You guys saw a lot of those people in here tonight talking to me, advocating for building more nuclear reactors on the fucking dying corpse of this planet. Are you joking? It's done. This little run at it is on its way down. And those of us that are alive now, you want my fucking opinion on it? We're lucky. We're lucky. I got a feeling Generation Alpha and Generation Beta are going to see some fucking shit, yo. Most of us that are watching this will be good and dead by the time they're our age. So we get a front row seat to some of the fucking early collapse, but are probably going to miss the worst of it. If we're lucky. Maybe we won't be. In a parallel universe where humans went a different direction, I think we may have the capability to spread out into the solar system, but not in this universe. Yeah. I don't even know if that is a universe that could exist. If you look at what we know about our closest relatives in the animal kingdom, chimps, they are incredibly territorial. They do the same shit that we do. They functionally start nation states, defend their territory, and wage war on one another that is horribly destructive and mutilating to their population over territory and access to breeding and access to natural resources and feeding grounds and hunting grounds and all this shit. So we know that this is ingrained into the human being to go like, this is my plot of land, and for us to join with people that look like us and go to war with people that don't. So I really don't, I don't see that there is a fucking alternate universe in which human beings fucking all decided, because what was the precipitating event? What kind of event would come along that would immediately take all these people? And I'm talking about all these people. The Karens, the weird anti-mask people that are wasting everybody's time now. The fucking Trumpies to go like, you know what? Fuck these nations. We all need to work as one species, and the goal needs to be our exploration of the goddamn fucking universe. We need to get rid of toil, get rid of fucking drudgery, get rid of exploitation, get rid of capitalistic nonsense, and focus human beings on building a society that sustains itself here for long enough for us to get the fuck off of here without leaving it behind a smoldering shit heap. If we did that back in the fucking day, But I just don't see what kind of precipitating event would ever have caused this fucking horrible, violent species to come to that conclusion naturally.
Think of how far we already were in industrialization ruining the planet before space travel even entered people's minds.
Right. We'd already functionally set in motion the engine that would fucking drive us toward doom before we ever even got into space. You know what I mean? And it's just, look at it now. Look at us. We're at each other's throats over fucking territory and the last little scraps of fucking mineral wealth. I saw a fucking legit Wall Street Journal article that said problem. The Taliban are occupying an area that is rich with minerals that the United States needs.
It was completely unironic.
Yep. That was the headline.
That's why we were in Afghanistan.
Yep.
Minerals.
Yep. We've fracked and fucked and mined and polluted this place to the point where it won't sustain us anymore. Nobody wants to admit it. Everybody wants to pretend that like we're gonna fucking continue this nosedive, but then eventually somebody's gonna pull back on the stick and we're just gonna glide out of it, How do I feel about people having children during these times? I don't know. It's hard for me to get in the headspace of somebody that has kids because I don't. And I don't want them. I don't want to have children. Children are not in my fucking game plan. They're not in the realm of possibility for me. So, yeah, I don't know.
Someone brought up a good point. Like, if we were like a hive mind like insects, maybe we could have achieved great things.
Maybe, yeah.
But we're definitely not a hive mind.
No.
There's no hive-minded species that is remotely taken over anything.
No. Maybe they'll get their crack at it.
Yeah, all the bees. If we haven't killed them all already.
The roaches. It'll be the roaches and the fucking...
Yeah.
It'll be the hard asses of the bug world that survive this shit. The garbage eaters, the maggots and the flies and the roaches, and who knows, dude, with 1 billion years of uninterrupted evolution and really no other fucking species to compete with them because they've all been killed off. Who the fuck knows, bro?
Get the Praetor.
Yep. Insectoids. What do you think about antinatalism? I think it's a self-stroke kind of philosophy to have. I think that the principles of antinatalism are pretty fucking easy to fucking agree with on the face of them. Like, the answer to what do we do about the problems of human beings is definitely not human beings. The answer to how do we reduce suffering on this planet is definitely not populate it with more fucking human beings to experience suffering. So I just think that antinatalism as a philosophy that's discussed beyond what I just laid out, which I think is probably accepted by most people with a fucking brain in their head, is just stroking yourself. It's just like philosophical masturbation. That's what I think about antinatalism. That clear it up? I mean, to me, antinatalism implies that human beings are going to overcome the one impulse that we exist to fucking express, and that is to fuck. That if one thing is true, no matter how long there's human beings on this planet, they're going to be fucking. Because we're a fucking mammal. We have biological impulses, and that's just it. People are going to fuck. So you can be an antinatalist all day. You're just never going to win people over because they want to fuck. So you can either accept that about human beings and look at the consequence of it, or you can, spend your whole day jerking yourself off philosophically about convincing people to walk away from our biological urge. It's just not going to happen.
It's not just mammals. It's like literally every living thing has a desire to reproduce.
Right.
That's the purpose of life, is to reproduce.
And it's this idea. I think antinatalists have a lofty idea about human development. I think that they think somewhere deep down that we have developed to the point where their ideas will be acceptable, where we have somehow transcended that biological urge. And I think that they just give shaved apes way too much goddamn fucking credit. Look what we've done to this planet. We're nowhere near as smart as we like to pretend we are. We literally shot upstream until the point where we all are dying now. So this humanity worship, this idea that humanity can be redeemed, I don't really believe it. I think this run at evolution is a fail. That's what I think about humanity. I think that evolution created a fucking being that had too much power over its environment. Created a sense of a brain that was slightly too fucking large and developed in slightly too much of a fucking way that was exploitative and warlike and fucking destructive. And this is the end result. We pooped up the planet. We shot upstream until the planet could no longer fucking take any more shit. That's it. This idea that humanity is going to pull out of this, or like we can fucking philosophically solve this with an idea, it's just not happening, dude. I don't believe that humanity has any more fucking right to exist on this planet than the dodo did. Or the fucking Tasmanian tiger did. Right? I don't think that they're any more special than those creatures. In fact, the only thing, if you want to make human beings a special creature, the only thing that makes us special is our capacity for mass destruction. That's not a good fucking thing. That's not a positive development. We invented mass degradation, mass warfare, mass explosive fucking detonation, mass slavery, mass exploitation, mass mining, mass pollution. We invented all this shit. We're incredibly destructive. We're a species that has no respect for the fucking world and the fragile fucking ecosystem that supports us all. We all have to eat. Eating requires animals, and we're making this place functionally uninhabitable for animals. No, I'm actually going to end this soon. Tired of hammering home the fucking point. I'm getting pretty done with it. Just so much fucking intellectual masturbation and shit going on. People just want to have the positive fucking outcome to a negative situation, and it's just not going to happen. And we can either admit that or pretend we don't know it. You know, that's basically what it comes down to. No, I've been going for an hour and a half. I didn't want to sit out here all fucking night, and my phone's going to die, and I'm not going to go get my shit to plug it in. So I'm going to end this. Thanks for Doom.